Welcome back. Thank you to all the new subscribers and the old subscribers. You guys are awesome. You guys are always awesome. And I thank you guys for watching and liking and commenting on all the videos. You're wonderful. So this video, we're going to be doing the C-pillar. We're going to be doing the floor pans, putting the floorboards in. We're going to be putting a sill on and hanging the doors, which is actually quite a bit in one video, but I kind of mishmashed them all together. So if you want to skip along in the video, I don't have any fancy editing tools that you can click on things along, so I don't know how to do any of that. So you know me, guys. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. So I'm going to do the C-pillar first. Second one, part of the video, second part is the sill. Third part's the doors. Fourth part's going to be the floors, all in one video. So you can skip along if you don't want to, or enjoy the whole wonderful movie. Because you know you guys are awesome, and I always like you guys watching the whole video. So thank you, enjoy the video, and I'll catch you next time. Along with working with getting this hooked up, the seat box, and I figure I might as well put this cover plate on. So here's the cover plate. It's part of the body work. Goes up in here. Goes up in like that, and it follows down where the new C-pillar is that I welded in. So what I did is I kind of lined it up with these holes up here. I had to trim, hard to do this with one hand, I had to trim this down a little bit to fit up with here. But then I just marked it with a Sharpie. You can see my marks right there. That's where I'm going to drill and put pop rivets in. I'm going to use the original holes here, down through here, and then these ones as well, and these ones. I'm using them all as a guide, so I put the rivets in the exact same place they were. So I'm going to mark it. Well, I'm going to drill these out next. Also, before I did that, before I started drill, I'm going to start pop riveting this, and I took these out. I took the original rivets out that were kind of flat like this, or let me see, where they were more like this. They were like the pounding kind, like you hit. But I drilled them out, and then I put in regular pop rivets. You can't really see it from the back, but they're blind pop rivets here. I got from YRM. They look like they're 1/4 inch size pop rivets. So this part of the body's now in. So then once this panel's in, then this will be tight and snug up against this then. So I got the panel on, and like I said, I did these ones. So these are all now pop riveted in, and here they are here in the body. And while I was at it, I drilled, these ones were really loose, they just spun. So I drilled these ones out too, which actually are on the opposite. When you have this panel here, your C-pillar, you have this side here, which is here, and then your other side of the C-pillar is over here. So I figure it might be a good idea to replace these ones too while I'm at it. So we got all the C-pillar is now pop riveted in and into place in with the body. Here and going down this way. So this side's done. I'm going to show you what I did on the other side. Oh, also one more thing. Here's the drill, not the drills, the rivets. What I did is I got from them from YRM, like I mentioned a second ago, but one's 15 millimeter long and one is 10 millimeter long. So with a 1/4 inch drill, I drilled these out with a 1/4 inch, so you could do the metric conversion, whatever that is, which I think is maybe, I don't know what it is. So you guys can calculate that. So what I did, I just did it with a hand one. This is an old one I bought back in the 90s or whatever. Just a regular hand pop rivet. Just popped it in there, squeezed the handle, and then you it breaks right off. So it's pretty simple to use. But I definitely, I bought this years ago, but it seems to be in better quality than the ones you buy today. So don't expect to spend like, you know, 10 bucks and get a cheap one and it lasts forever. But for what we're doing here, it's good enough. You don't need to have anything fancy. So I just stuck with that. I didn't buy a pneumatic one or nothing like that because I'm not planning on pop riveting a whole lot. So again, back to YRM, I got all these. I got like 50 of them for $2 or $3. I added on whenever I bought these pillars and these pieces that I welded them in. So it was just a couple bucks more. So I just added on, I think 50 of each of them, which I don't even need that many. Okay, so let's go over to the other side and I'll show you what I did. here we are on the other side. Did the exact same thing, just kind of followed along. And I did the pop rivets up here and along, but I wanted to show you over here. Whenever I drilled these through, a 1/4 inch drill may have been just a little bit bigger, or it's kind of rusty, the metal, it's not all that great. So what I did is I used the number 10 washer. So I put the longer 15 millimeter rivet in there. Then I held this washer here as I cranked and I started pulling in the rivet, and the washer ends up being pushed in and pulled against the body to hold it tight in there. So this little washer kind of fills in for not having a perfect hole here or perfect metal behind here. You can see I did it right here too, because as I was doing it, I was kind of like, I put the other one in and I don't even think it was even gripping it at all. So I ended up using the washers. But the other side seemed to be a little bit better, so I didn't have to use the washers. But I used the longer rivets and did it here. And I also, there you go, you can see back there, that one was okay there. I used the longer ones on this side here and it worked on these ones. And so it seemed to pinch it and squeeze it okay. So, and this one here, this was a longer one, the 15 millimeter. I think it goes through 3 pieces of metal here. It goes in, but these ones are real short, so I used the 10 millimeter ones. And again, the 10 millimeter ones all through here, 10 millimeter through all these holes as well. So that panel's on next. So I'm happy with that. So I'm working on putting on the skirt or side skirts on the Rover here. And right now I currently have it just loose on there, just hanging. And I'll show you how the brackets go on the back of here. Here's the other side, the right-hand side. And here's the brackets. They're kind of an odd shaped bracket, but specifically for this type of wider skirt or apron or whatever you want to call it. So what I do is I have 5/16 bolts, no 1/4 inch bolts with some thicker washers, and I have them in there with some lock nuts, and I just have them loose right now so they can slide up and down when I put it on. And there's 3 of them for a 109 station wagon, or a 109 for a longer one. And then you have your 4th one up here, which you can see is corroded. This actually attaches to your bulkhead at the bottom of your foot part of your bulkhead. So this is the other side. Again, I have them loose, and then let's go look and see. I can show you how they attach to the seal over here. I guess they would be called seals, since this is a seal here, so this would be the seal, I guess. Door seal. Okay, now let's go underneath. There you go. You can see here's the 2 bolts that I put on the workbench, and this one goes into a bracket that's part of the seal. Then this is the piece that goes in this way on here. So this gives you some flexibility this way, side to side, and then this gives you up and down to line it up with where it goes. And there's this one, and the next one's back there. And then up at the front, at the door, here's where the foot, oh, you can't get a good shot of it here. There it is there at the footwell right here. And there's that bolt. I use the same size bolts, 3/4 inch long, 1/4 inch bolts. So that's on. I have this side on, but I noticed that I need to put the doors on to really get this in the right position, because it kind of goes up and down, and I'm not sure where it's supposed to line up. It looks like it's supposed to line up with this. You can kind of see the dirt mark here, or the rust or dirt mark where it was. It kind of lines up with that. So then also back here you have a bolt right here that attaches to this piece coming down. And in the front, actually I had to fix this one. I have to drill it out, but I put a piece of pop riveted. Sorry, light's all over. It doesn't want to reflect. So I put a piece of aluminum. Too much light. There you go. I put a piece of aluminum on there, and I just pop riveted on there so I can drill a new hole. So then once I have it lined up with the fender, I can drill that hole out, which I think is just a bigger hole. So I'll probably measure it from the other side because the other side looks perfect. So the seal's on, but I'm going to put the doors on next and see how it lines up with everything. So what I did to get the doors on, I'm going to kind of do a little reenactment here, is I put the 2 bolts in here and here, and then held it in place. I took this piece off of the hinges, the doors, and I just kind of snugged these 2 bottom pieces of the hinge in. I just kind of snugged them up. Then I took the door with the new pins inside of it and put it onto the hinges. Then I just kind of snugged it and moved it around up and down until I got the gaps equal all around. And then in the rear one, I did the same thing up back here. It's kind of difficult to show inside the garage, but the gaps are pretty equal going the whole way around the door. I tried to center it up as much as I can, and I have to say, I'm pretty happy with the way the door gaps are. Like you can see, it's pretty straight the whole way up, equal, going up that way, coming across, coming down along the doors, and coming here, and coming down to the bulkhead, and down to here. I think I'm almost equal the whole way around, so I'm pretty happy the way the bulkhead turned out, that I got that pretty straight from here to the B pillar, and then the B pillar to the C pillar. I got that all straightened up too. Well, the bottom is the bottom of the door. It's going to be a future video, but I have to replace the bottom of the door, but that's down the road. I just need doors to be on there to move it outside of the garage. But once I replace the bottom, it'll pull that in. Here, I'll show you this way. See how it's sticking out here on the bottom, and then it comes in tight here. The body, it's actually because there's no support down here. So if you look here, the spacing turned out great. All around the back door, the front side of the door, coming down and around. So I'm happy with the way the doors all came together. And then the sill, I just kind of moved and positioned it a little bit. And what I noticed is the way the B pillar is here, you can see the seam is right here below this. So this seam here needs to be below the door. And that's pretty straight dead on too. I'm amazed that this is all coming out right where it should be. And then this, you can see here, it lines right up nice and got the fender to come around and curves around. This straightens out. This you can kind of pull and bend a little bit to get it straight to line up with this pillar here, so with the C pillar. So I'm happy with the way, I'm amazed. This side and the other side, they have the exact same door gaps all around. So I'm amazed that I did this. So good job to me. I'll pat myself on the back later on. So, and then here too. Yeah, then this too, this kind of the dent that's in here lines up with the original spot where it was. So that worked out too. So I'm pretty happy. Just seeing a B pillar and an A pillar, I just think is awesome. Working on getting the floors put in. So I got the rear one in, and I got the clips going around the outside of it, and then the gasket, rubber gasket I made with quarter inch bolts. And in order to get in a station wagon, in order to get the floor in, you have to take these brackets off. Just a little FYI there. And I tried putting it in and realized that this is in the way, so I had to take this off. Then it would slide right in there. Then the front, I started putting in the front one here, and you can see I have the rubber gasket here, 16th rubber gasket, and I also did that on the other side as well. So I have the little clips here. I got the sealant going around, which is some type of plumbing putty or whatever, and then rubber seal up here so then the bolts can go down through. Since I moved everything and installed, fixed the bulkhead and put the center console in and everything here, the bolts don't seem to be lining up, which is understandable because everything's bolted together. So Like on this one here, I had to grind this out here. Grind this one, make it a little bit of an oval. These ones kind of fit together. This one I kind of hit a little bit. And over here, this one I had to oval this one as well to get it to fit in there. So I had to do that to the passenger side one. Only a couple of bolts, I had to get those in. And the driver's side, but the rear one, I didn't have to do anything to. It fit in there pretty good. I didn't have to do anything to it, so all the bolts kind of lined up in there. What I'm putting in between the floorboards and into this area, and the floorboards and everything to seal it off, is I bought this stuff at a yard sale. And what it is, it's got like a gummy, tarry, like sealant, like dum-dum, with like kind of like for plumbing type thing, or you'd put around a window, but it's like a thick tar type material, and it kind of peels off. And it just, I got 2 lengths of these or whatever. I only paid like $2 or something like that for 2 big rolls of this. So I thought it would be pretty good. I bought it a while back, so I figure I'll try it out. So it seems to be working pretty good. Just kind of stick it down on there and then lay your floor pan right on top of it, and then it just kind of squishes down inside of it. So then the clips for the floor, I purchased some of these, some BritPart floorboard bolts or whatever, but they're the original style looking one with that coarse thread on there. So I'm going to use this with these, and you just kind of pound these on. They have a lip that goes on. You can see them down there. You just kind of pound them on to where the holes are. And it's nice because they're loose. Once they get into the hole, they're kind of loose, so they move around, so you can line up the bolts a little bit easier. So then on the end here, I'm using 1/4 inch bolts that are 3/4 inch long with some lock nuts and some washers on there. So I'm going to put this floor in, so then the floors will all be done and installed.